Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, Nicole and Eric, right? They're seen. Nicole is that they're wondering should they even be working together because she had a conversation with EJ and she was afraid to mention that she was working with Eric because she knew how EJ was going to respond. And they have a talk, and she even says, "Hey, listen, Sloan's not going to be too happy you working with me, so we really shouldn't be working together." Now, Eric does need the job, so he really needs to be there. But Nicole, you don't really need the job though. Like, you can work back at Basic Black. So, wouldn't it just be better for you just to work back at Basic Black and let him just sit there and do this? They decide, you know what, let's just work together because I don't know, reasons, fans, whatever. But like in all reality, I'm like, I think that she had the right idea. I understand why Rita is in this episode. Like, her role is somewhat important because, yeah, she comes across very snarky remarks with EJ. And, EJ is normally the type of person that, like, if you look at him the wrong way, um, on any given day, he'll wind up snapping at you, firing you, or if you're a man, wind up hitting you. But, when you sit there talking about Titan and maybe taking over Titan and everything like that, in her sarcastic way, she's reminding him that you're doing too much. You're doing way too much, bro. You are being full-time DA, and you're, doing a whole CEO thing. And at some point, something's going to wind up slipping through the cracks. You know, um, Jack of all trades, master of none. And so he does appreciate that. Um, him looking out for, her looking out for him like she did with his father and everything else. Ava ultimately wound up getting a job working at Roman's pub or whatever because she wants to then try to get a little place. He was like, no, because you don't have a job, you're an ex-con, blah 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 blah. I can't really sit there and trust you to pay the rent and stuff. She's like, all right, listen, I'll give you 1 week. Works out, then we'll go from there. So Harris, and this almost seemed like kind of a somewhat of a pointless scene where Marlena's not there talking to Harris about his mental health and everything. Ultimately, Ava and Harris tries to go back to the bistro, look for the book. They can't find it. They get busted by Stefan. Now at this point, Stefan's like, all right, listen, I'll just call the cops. And Ava's like, you know what? Because she initially she wants to sit there and tell him, be like, hey, um, he wants to get Clyde out of our lives, just, out of his life just as much as everyone else. Harris didn't trust him. At this point, you might as well, because if not, he was just going to call the cops and get them both in trouble. So, Ava wanted being truthful with him. He was like, listen, if I can help, I'll do it. So all three of them is there searching for the book. And Ava remembered that there was some expensive wine that never got sold, and always talked about how Clyde's thing was to hide stuff in plain sight. So they wound up searching the wine case, and in one of the wine bottles, there's the black book. I'm glad that they actually wound up telling him because it was like, what was y'all gonna do? Y'all just gonna keep going in there hoping that y'all wouldn't get caught? Like, so it was kind of a, what I'm saying? It was kind of a stupid plan to begin with. Now, Leo is getting stinking drunk, right? And Sloan comes there. Um, he's all upset because, Dimitri broke out with him. And I'm going to be honest, I don't feel bad for him at all because he's been keeping this whole secret about Nicole's baby forever. So, I'm just looking at it, it's like, well, that's what you call karma. But Sloan's there to make sure that he doesn't open up his mouth and just kind of blab to the world and Hey, listen, the money might have stopped, but, you know, you don't want to sit there and hurt Egg by doing that. And also reminds them about, jail time of blackmailing and everything. Like it's in your best interest not to say anything. So she leaves, and Leo's still sitting there thinking about how to come up with that same amount of money to keep his lifestyle going. And while he's drunk, he sits there and thinks about, you know what, maybe I can sit there and try to hit up EJ for money and, get a deal where I don't go to jail. I mean, this was definitely not a good plan, especially when you're drunk. I mean, let's be honest. No plan is ever good when you're drunk. Ever. But of course, his dumbass goes there, goes to Damaris' place, talks to EJ. It's like, hey, listen, I got a story for you. You're gonna want to sit there and pay up, and I'm telling you right now, it's a good one. His whole thing is that his whole thing is that he doesn't have to sit there, and I think it was something that's like, hey, listen, I can tell him the half truth because he doesn't know that Eric is the father. So maybe I could sit there and kind of finesse this a little bit. I don't think that's going to actually work out so well because, again, EJ is a very temperamental person. The last time he tried to sit there and tell him somebody the truth, EJ wanted to whooping his ass. That's why I'm just so surprised that he's giving so much rope to Rita. You know, she must be really competent because I can just see him right now, just like, all right, you're fired. Yeah, you're fired. Um, Stefan is also making sure that Kristen is, doing her job as far as trying to get Gabby out of jail. So far, she hasn't actually did anything except for talked about how she's going to do it. I'm like, I don't understand how setting up a scholarship in Li Shen's name is actually going to. I mean, it may help a little bit with the board, but I don't understand how that's going to actually translate into finding his killer. A lot of people sitting there saying that he's not even dead. And under normal circumstances, I'll be like, I'm pretty sure he's dead. But because this is Days of Our Lives and people come back like there's no tomorrow, thanks to Frankenstein doctors like Roth, it's possible. Um, Marlena's still worried about John and also worried about Eric. And you know what? Here's the thing. What I do understand a little bit about how even when your children grow up, you're still always going to sit there and worry. Part of me is like, Eric, the issues that he's having at this point just seem kind of pathetic for somebody of his age. Now, I'm not just saying that everyone has to have their life fully together, but I'm like, you're going out with a woman that was very sus, right? You always seem like you picked women that was very sus, except for Jada. Jada, as far as I'm concerned, Jada was probably the one person that seemed like they had a good head on their shoulders. Nicole, in her history, Sloan, in her history. I think at one point he was even going out with Kristen. You turned down Jada to go back out with Nicole Walker. Yep, definitely a downgrade in my book, but whatever. And a lot of the stuff that, this whole worrying stuff is stuff that is of his own making, you know? I know they don't like Sloan, but I'm like, he did pick her. For better or worse, that's another probably one of his mistakes. They're having money issues. Well, I mean, you can kind of put some of that on him as well. It's like, what are you doing with your life, bro? Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. That's the general sum of the video, of the episode. I might have missed about one or two things, but if I missed anything, write in the comment section. With that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.